All right, it's the odd couple, Chris and Rob, on a Worship Wednesday. And Rob, let's talk about David Griffin, the GM of the president of the New Orleans Pelicans. He was talking
awful
today.
Pelicans.
Right. He was talking about why. I mean, they're 5-10. It's looking bad.
Why are they that bad, Chris? And I know it's a new coach trying to. They shouldn't be this bad. They got some young talent on that team. I'm shocked.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you look down the teams in the West, there aren't any really bad ones other than Minnesota. And then even they've got a Karl Anthony Towns, and if they get healthy, they could, be okay. They're not a playoff team. But so it's tough out there. And also, look, Stan has had success in some places. Obviously, he didn't in Detroit. He was good in Orlando, Miami. Yeah, Detroit, he was bad. He's got them playing a lot slower than they played last year. And I'll tell you this about Zion. He scores. That's about all he does. He's not the rebounder he should be. He gets you about 7-8 a game, which isn't terrible, but you would think he'd be a better rebounder. And he doesn't defend at all.
I still can't believe where he was, Chris, in just, and I don't know what the clicks were or whatever. If you were to do a click on Zion before he got to the NBA to where he is now, or just how many mentions or how many topics.
Even his rookie year.
Nothing. Like this.
Well, remember, even his rookie year, he was huge. And look, he's
am
a
I
good
right or wrong?
player.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just talking about.
No, but you are right, because people had him on a superstar trajectory.
Yes.
And we'll see if he gets there. I'm not going to bury the kid yet.
No, I'm not burying
him. But he got
a
long way to go.
I'm just saying, like, attention or mentions.
Yep.
Like,
but think of it. That's how it goes. Look at Karl Anthony Towns. God bless him. With the COVID and his family's been
He's had 7
terrorized
people,
by
his
COVID.
mother and 6 family members die, and he got COVID.
But basketball wise, he's not talked about a lot anymore. He still puts up his numbers. He might make the All-Star team.
Right.
But you got to win. And it's early for Zion, so we'll see. But, Rob, bottom line is I thought they'd be contending for the playoffs this year. Right. There's a lot of basketball left to be played. But anyway, David Griffin was talking about the Pelicans and made this comment. The only player that could go to any team and make you a contender is LeBron James. Your thoughts?
I'm not so sure. Maybe Kevin Durant with the right cast. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
I would say Kevin Durant.
I think with both of them, I don't think they go to any team and immediately make that team a contender.
Right. I agree with that.
I think they would go to any team and make them a playoff team.
Yep. In the NBA, more than half the teams make it, Chris.
Right.
With a talent like that, you got a good shot to make the playoffs.
Right. Now, given a couple years, and I'm talking particularly about LeBron, but LeBron's better than Durant, but Durant probably is the same. He's probably in this category too. As far as if you let's say you sent LeBron to the Wizards, or say you sent LeBron to, and to be honest, if he went to the Wizards with him and Bradley Beal, they'd be darn good just because Bradley Beal is a good player. Right. But send him to the worst team in the league. Give him a year, maybe in his second or third year, they'd have a few changes on the roster. I'm not talking about stars, but just the type of role players that fit around him. They would play off him, and I think he could. That's what he did in Cleveland, Rob.
But you know what?
You know what I mean? That team didn't have any great players around him.
I remember when Jordan went, Chris. I remember I was trying to find the story. I thought Sports Illustrated did it. I can't remember. But I thought they had done something when Michael went to Washington. It was a story about him and any 4 guys, and they picked Washington to go to the NBA Finals. And it was
the year he went there?
Yes, it was something like that, like Michael it was just like the story that it was all about Mike. It didn't matter who his teammates were. And I thought it was the most, obviously, Chris, he didn't make the playoffs in any of the 2 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it was something like that.
I think they would have made it his first year because remember he got hurt. and he only played, I think, 60 games. And they were on pace to make it, before he got hurt. But still, they wouldn't have been a contender.
No.
For sure. I think, Rob, and this is when you debate LeBron and Jordan, I think you agree with, look, I'm not taking anything away from Scottie Pippen. He was a very good player and deserved Hall of Famer. But I don't think Jordan had the greatest cast around him. Because nobody on his team, none of his teammates, Rob, did anything without him other than Dennis Rodman.
Nope,
I'm talking about winning, right? When Scottie went to Portland, when he went to Houston, he did nothing. And he had good teams. And Rodman was a role player in Detroit, but, he does what he does, and he was effective. He had success in San Antonio till he, turned on that team. But outside of that, Steve Kerr, John Paxson, Judd Bushler, Randy Brown, Ron Harper was good before he went to Chicago. But Jordan didn't have this great supporting cast. He made them what they were. He's a former NBA veteran, now Fox Sports Radio NBA analyst. We love having him on the show. Our man, Olden Polynice. Happy New Year, man.
What's happening?
Happy New Year, fellas.
Great to have you on, brother.
My pleasure to be on.
All right, so Shaq, I don't know if you've been following it, but Shaq is caught up in controversy because you saw it, right? You know what's going on? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you think today's players are just too sensitive or that Shaq is hating?
I don't think the players are too sensitive. What Shaq's doing is being petty. And so to me, when you're being an analyst, you should try to keep everything within the framework of that job. I think Shaq is getting personal with a lot of stuff he's saying and doing. And to me, that's what's not right. This game has evolved. The game changed. It's not what it used to be. Particularly when he made the comment, and I'm not even talking about Donovan Mitchell. When he made the comment about Rudy Gobert, that's when I was like, come on, dude, you got to stop. Because the man got a contract. So what? Say congratulations and keep it moving. My philosophy used to always be this. I hope the money get bigger every year because I have kids, and I want them to have an opportunity to make that kind of money. That's how I used to look at it. I'm not looking at, they don't deserve it and all that. People say we didn't deserve when we got our money.
Right.
And so what?
Don't you remember John Concac?
Yeah, I remember.
That's been around forever, though, Olden. I think my issue I have is that I do believe the players are sensitive. They have an issue if it's a reporter, trained journalist like Chris Broussard or me or Stephen A. or Skip Bayless, who have all worked at newspapers and went to journalism school, and they have an issue if we criticize them. They have an issue if the former players, because their criticism of us is we never played in the NBA, so what do we know? And then when Shaq and Charles Barkley or anybody says anything that's not a praise to them, they have an issue. I think they are way too sensitive. So which one is it? Shaq can't say anything, or can the reporters not say anything?
Listen, it's up to you guys. All I know is this. Shaq has been a little bit too out there with some of his comments. Okay, that's the bottom line. They're not even trying. He gave Donovan Mitchell a backhanded compliment.
No, that was a bad question. He shouldn't be interviewing him. He's not a reporter. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Well, but they always
he's gonna come
interview
across. He's gonna come across looking horrible, and so he needs to stay in his lane. But again, I'm not saying that there's not some sensitivity within these guys. I know that because they've been coddled. I coach AAU. I know these kids have been coddled. But at the same time, my concern is this. Why are we not giving these guys at least some semblance of respect for what they're doing now? That's all I'm saying. We don't have to keep knocking them because we don't agree with it. It comes down to the contracts. That's what it's coming down to. Nothing else. It's not even about their games. It's about contracts.
I think, also, I just think that, are these guys sometimes sensitive? Yeah, but I think it's just the nature of the beast now. I mean, when you played, they didn't have First Take and Undisputed every day. You're getting criticized.
We had cold pizza, man.
You're right. Well, that would have been toward the end of your career because that was in 2004, I think. But you didn't have daily TV shows where they were being critical of the players, or even national sports talk radio wasn't as big back then. And then you didn't have social media. I think guys of any era would be somewhat just as bothered by the criticism as they are today, because it's just it's everywhere now.
Listen, Shaquille has to stop. That's the bottom line, man. You can do your job without trying to break guys down, okay? So what? His comment's going to make Donovan Mitchell play differently? His comment's going to make Rudy Gobert play different or not get his money? He already signed a contract. Like I said, say congratulations to these young men and keep it moving. That's the bottom line. I'm not saying they cannot comment and criticize the game aspect, just like Shaquille got criticized for his lack of work ethic and everything else.
Right.
You know? And so if it's on the court, keep it on the court.
Yeah, I just think that you should be able to, whenever, and we've just been on the other side of it, it's always was the writers hate us and they're jealous of us and they're saying this because of this and that. And I just think sometimes that's just a lame excuse for me. I mean, I agree with you, Rob. I agree with you. Okay. To a certain extent, it is a lame. I never had problems with reporters. It's like no, you didn't, right?
But these guys, that's what I said. To a certain extent, they are a little petty with their stuff as well. But the way Shaquille has come across, it looks real petty on his end. And I'm like, dude, you got to stop, man. You on every damn commercial there is in America. You getting yours. Why are you still bothered by what people are doing? I'm tired of seeing Shaquille O'Neal in a commercial.
Let's move quickly to the court. Do you see who do you think? I think the Lakers are look, the Clippers are very good. I think Brooklyn can be good. Let me just ask you about the Nets. Do you think they're going to get it together and be able to win the East?
That's going to be a tough one because I still don't know who's going to take the last shot. And I just think that those three guys, the way they play, everybody's saying all the right things right now. But when they get in the mix, I just don't think it's going to work. I really don't. And I love all three of those players for what they bring. I just think your natural instincts will kick in. And, defensively is where they're going to really suffer. Right. But I think when their natural instincts to be a ball hog, technically, to be a ball hog, that's when they're going to have problems.
So they're not making the playoffs?
Oh, yeah, they're going to make the playoffs. Okay. Come on now. Who said that, Rob?
It was me.
Come on, man.
That's our man, the big Olden Polynice. We always love having you, my man.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
All right, later.